Israeli-Palestinian conflict a matter of basic human rights. Government to assess coronavirus impact on country's economy. Hello and good afternoon. I'm Mohana Priya. Welcome to Updates at Noon. In order to solve the Israeli-Palestinian conflicts, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Aziz Ahwan Ismail urges everyone to unite and put aside their religious and racial differences. She said the conflict is neither a matter of religion nor race. Instead, it involves the matter of basic human rights. She said the fight to free Palestine from Zionist regime is not dominated by only Muslims, as there are a lot of non-Muslim individuals who condemn the ruthless acts of the Israelis.
As we also know of the organization called Jews for Justice for Palestinians, which was established in UK by the Jewish academic Irene Bruegel. This organization has grown and now has 1,300 members. All are Jews. This organization actively advocates for the fair treatment of Palestinians.
Speaking at the closing of the third annual Al-Quds Parliamentary Conference in Petaling Jaya, Selangor, the Deputy Prime Minister also proposed to establish a museum named An-Nakba to allow the world community, especially the youth, to understand the history of Palestine and the Israeli occupation in the country. She said that with that, the fight for Palestinian justice could be continued. In the meantime, the Parliamentary Caucus on Reform and Governance Chairman, Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, says justice for Palestinians must be fought with clear actions and not just rhetoric. Speaking at the third annual conference of League of Parliamentarians for Al-Quds farewell dinner last night, he also urged all Islamic countries to defend the people of Palestine from being further suppressed in their own land.
If I were to make this final remark, is also to call upon Muslim governments. We are legitimate as rulers. We are truly representative of the true aspirations of our people. And our people want justice. Our people demand that we speak up and render whatever support possible.
Datuk Sri Anwar also described the peace plan championed by United States President Donald Trump as the latter's brainchild. Meanwhile, the chairman of Al-Quds Parliamentary Conference, Syed Ibrahim Said Noh, says Malaysia must hold on to its stance to reject the Israel-Palestine peace deal that was suggested by US President Donald Trump, despite the fact that he might be re-elected as president. He said this will strengthen the commitment of the country to help Palestine fight for its sovereignty.
Bagi saya tidak ada bezanya sama ada Trump atau orang lain, sebab kita berpegang kepada dasar prinsip bahawa tidak ada sesiapa pun yang boleh ditindas, dizalimi, dan mereka ada kebebasan di negara mereka sendiri. Kita bukan sebut pasal negara yang bukan bawah dia, tetapi negara mereka sendiri.
According to Syed Ibrahim, the conference that convened members of parliament from 40 countries proved the strong support to free Palestine from the ruthless Zionist regime. Now, the two-day conference, which ended yesterday, had also passed 9 resolutions, including to call upon the international and regional parliaments to issue rules condemning the occupation of Palestine and the atrocities committed towards Palestine. Now, an update on the latest on the coronavirus. A 31-year-old local man who has had a history of traveling to China recently was confirmed to be positive for the 2019 novel coronavirus, 2019 nCoV, bringing the tally of infections in the country to 18. Health Director General Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah said the man was working in Macau, China, before returning to Malaysia on the 1st of February. Dr. Nur Hisham, in a statement, said the man, who started feeling ill and coughing on 3rd February, went to a clinic for treatment and was given medication on the 4th and 6th February. However, on the 7th February, the man was reported to be unwell and went to seek treatment at a health clinic before being referred to Banting Hospital for examination and treatment. Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham said following the examination, the man was diagnosed with pneumonia and severe acute respiratory infection, which required him to be put under intensive monitoring. He was then immediately referred to Sungai Buloh Hospital before being confirmed positive with the 2019 nCoV. Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham said the Selangor Health Department and the Kuala Langat District Health Office had been informed to investigate, including detecting close contacts, as well as to take prevention and control measures. He also advised residents in Banting to stay calm, as the Health Ministry had taken appropriate action and would inform on the latest developments. As of yesterday, the total number of coronavirus infections in the country was 17 cases. Meanwhile, Dr. Nur Hisham said a 63-year-old man from China who underwent treatment at an isolation ward in KL Hospital for the novel coronavirus infection becomes the third case of full recovery in Malaysia after repeat tests results found him negative for the virus. The Health Director General said the patient, who was the 10th positive case, had been given symptomatic treatment with continuous monitoring without the need for antiviral drugs. According to Dr. Nur Hisham, 2 repeat tests for the 2019 nCoV that were done on patients on 7th and 8th February had shown negative results. He said the Ministry of Health would like to congratulate HKL for providing the best treatment for the patient. He added that the ministry also extended its appreciation to Kuala Lumpur and Putrajaya health authorities for their involvement in investigations, contact tracing, as well as preventive and control measures to curb the spread of the disease. On Saturday, a man from China who was admitted into the isolation ward at Permai Hospital, Johor Bahru on 24th January was allowed to go home after the 3rd repeat test on him showed a negative result. The man was the second recovered case after a little girl, also from China, was discharged from Sultanah Maliha Hospital in Langkawi, Kedah on 4th February. Putrajaya Corporation PJC is taking extra measures to keep the public updated on news of the novel coronavirus situation in its locality. Speaking during a prize-giving ceremony for the Putrajaya Community Wall Climbing Competition at Extreme Sports Complex yesterday, PJC President Dr. Aminuddin Hashim said one of Putrajaya's advantages is that there are 23 ministries located in the administrative capital.
Advantage Putrajaya ialah kita ada 23 kementerian di sini. Dan kita waktu banyak kementerian-kementerian ini yang terbabit dalam usaha-usaha memastikan bahawa isu virus sekarang ini dapat dikawal. Contohnya Kementerian Kesihatan, dia berada di sini dan kita sentiasa sebagai PBT ataupun orang yang terlibat dalam menguruskan Putrajaya sentiasa dimaklumkan dengan maklumat-maklumat terkini lah.
Noting that some places in Putrajaya are tourist attractions, Dr. Aminuddin added that hand sanitizers were also made available at strategic locations. He also said that tourists who visit Putrajaya by buses were given a briefing about the situation and precautions to take. Now, the Finance Ministry will be looking at the estimated duration of the impact from the novel coronavirus outbreak before determining the amount for the stimulus package to assist the sectors affected. The Minister Lim Guan Eng said the ministry will be obtaining the Health Ministry's input in terms of estimated duration of the outbreak and its effects.
Buat kerangka macam ni kerana perkara ini tak boleh buat secara tergesa-gesa atau secara memburu-buru. Biarlah kita nilai dari segi impak supaya kita dapat pastikan mereka yang terjejas dapat bantuan.
Lim added that beginning today, the ministry will be discussing the matter with the tourism sector, followed by meetings with other sectors. Lim told the media this after attending the 2020 Chinese New Year open house celebration organized by the Penang Royal Malaysian Customs Department in Seberang Jaya yesterday. He said this when asked to comment on statements by economists estimating that an allocation of between 10 billion and 15 billion ringgit would be needed to address the coronavirus impact on the nation's economy, with focus on the tourism, manufacturing, health and education sectors. The Federal Agricultural Marketing Authority, FAMA, targets to export 50 million ringgit worth of Musang King durians to China this year, compared with 30 million last year, despite concerns the fruit export would be affected following the novel coronavirus outbreak in the Republic. Speaking to reporters after launching My Best Buy Pharma at Leto de Langkawi in Kuala Lumpur, Pharma Chairman Ishak Ismail said he hoped the outbreak in China would end soon, as the fruiting season for Musang King durian would start in July, August and September.
Tetapi musim durian Musang King ini biasanya pada bulan 7, bulan 8, bulan 9. Jadi kita harap pada waktu itu mudah-mudahan virus ini telah pun berakhir dan kita dapat seperti biasa untuk terus mengekspor ke sana.
According to Ishak, the Musang King durian is a big hit in China, and he is confident that traders can sell at 200 ringgit to 400 ringgit per kg there. Asked whether the number of visitors to My Best Buy was affected due to the coronavirus infections here, Ishak said the number of visitors was encouraging and believed the people of Malaysia had taken proactive steps in facing the spread of the virus. He said traders also prioritize cleanliness in food preparation and sales. The National Kinaf and Tobacco Board, LKTN, managed to foil an attempt to smuggle 2 tons of preserved tobacco worth about 60,000 ringgit in an operation in Tanah Merah, Kelantan. During the raid, the LKTN also seized 2 vans that were used to carry the tobacco. TN Director General Samsudin Noor said the operation was conducted with the collaboration of customs enforcement personnel. Investigation found that the seized tobacco was sun-preserved and heat-preserved tobacco, and they were believed to be smuggled in from a neighbouring country for local markets, especially in the East Coast states.
Dan ini merupakan satu kesalahan di bawah Seksyen 52/1 Akta Lembaga Kenaf dan Tembakau Negara. Kita dapat maklumat daripada orang awam dan kita mengikuti van ini, 2 van ini, dan sehingga satu tempat tu dia letakkan berhenti van dan kita akan mengurus mengenai rampasan ini mengikut keputusan mahkamah nanti.
Coming up in sports, German Wallshades secures a 3rd stage of 2020 LTDL. German rider Maximilian Richard Wallshade of NTT Pro Cycling Team won the 3rd stage of 2020 Le Tour de Langkawi cycling race from Dataran Temerloh to Petronas Twin Towers yesterday. The 26-year-old, who won the Kota Kinabalu International Criterion on Thursday and first crossed the finish line in a sprint race at the finals of the race, covering a distance of 162 kilometers. Italian rider Riccardo Minali of Nippo Delco province came in second, while Team Sapura Cycling of Turkey, Ahmet Orkan, came in third. The chief judge awarded the same time of 3 hours 51 minutes and 42 seconds after the top 10 finishers crossed the line in a bunch group. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad has urged more corporate companies to contribute financially to the organisation of international sporting events like the LTDL in Malaysia. Singling out Petronas for its involvement in international sports, Tun Dr. Mahathir thanked the National Oil and Gas Company for stepping forward to be a title sponsor of the 25th edition of the LTDL, together with several other corporate companies. Tun Dr. Made, who mooted the idea of LTDL in 1996, stressed that financial support from corporate companies is important to ensure the successful organization of international sports events in the country, although the government does have special allocations to help the organizers. Speaking to reporters after presenting prizes to winners of Stage 3 LTDL 2020 in front of the Petronas Twin Towers yesterday, the Prime Minister said the staging of LTDL in the past 25 years had attracted many people in the country to take up cycling for recreation. He also expressed confidence that talented Malaysian cyclists would have the opportunity to participate in several leading international championships overseas in the future.
Dan daripada yang mengambil bahagian itu, kita akan jumpa dengan mereka yang berbakat. Mereka perlu dilatih sehingga mereka sampai kepada tahap mereka boleh berlomba dalam international race seperti ini.
And that concludes updates at noon this afternoon. In our top story, Israeli-Palestinian conflict, a matter of basic human rights. Join us again at 7 this evening. I'm Mohan Priya. Thanks for watching.